After 40 days of temptation in the wilderness, God the Father knew that Jesus was truly ready to begin his ministry here on earth. Now, Jesus wasn't just going to begin his ministry by himself. You see, he was going to have a bunch of other men with him called disciples to help him. As Jesus was wandering out of the wilderness, he came upon his cousin, John the Baptist, who was teaching to a bunch of people who were there. When John the Baptist noticed that Jesus was amongst the people he was teaching to, he pointed to him and said, "Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world." Now the people who were there understood exactly what John the Baptist was referring to, including two prominent disciples of John the Baptist. Their names were Andrew and John. And Andrew and John, understanding that what John the Baptist was saying here, that Jesus Christ was in fact the Messiah, decided to go and follow after Jesus. Now you would think that John the Baptist, seeing this, would be very upset at this. However, later when he would be questioned by the religious leaders on this fact, he would say, "He must increase, but I must decrease," understanding that it was better for Jesus to have more disciples than him. Now, as they were wandering out, one of the disciples, Andrew, remembered that he had a brother named Simon, and he wanted his brother Simon to also know Jesus as he had, and so he went to go find him. And he found his brother Simon fishing, as his job was. And he told him about Jesus and the fact that Jesus was the Messiah that had been prophesied years prior. And Simon, hearing this, decided to go and follow his brother to find Jesus. When Jesus met Simon, he decided that he was going to give him a nickname, as Jesus had affectionately done to many different people throughout his time. And he said, "Your name will now be Peter," meaning rock. This meant that Peter was going to be a strong rock that Jesus was going to, in the future, build his church upon. Now, as these men were walking one day, he saw a man by the name of Philip, and he pointed to Philip and he told him, "Follow me." And Philip understood that, and he followed him. But Philip also had a friend by the name of Nathanael, and he wanted Nathanael, his friend, to know Jesus as he had. And so he went to go looking for him, and it may have taken him a little while, but eventually he found him. And Philip went up to Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Now, Nathanael knew something very specific about the prophecies that were in the Old Testament. He knew that they said that the Messiah was going to be born in Bethlehem, not in Nazareth. And so he justifiably knowing that Jesus had in fact how can he be the Messiah and come from Nazareth? But with a little bit more persuasion, Philip was able to tell him, "Come and see." And Nathanael went with him. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he pointed to him and said, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Now Nathanael was confused by this because he had never met Jesus before, and so he said, "How do you know me?" And Jesus told him, "I saw you sitting under the tree before Philip found you." And Nathanael, responding to this, said, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And these are the first 5 individuals who will be known as Jesus' disciples: Andrew, John, Simon, also known as Peter, Philip, and Nathanael. Now you will notice that there is something very distinctive about these men. These men that Jesus chose to be his disciples were not any biblical scholars or rich or powerful individuals. They were just normal, ordinary guys, 3 of whom we know were fishermen. Now, one thing that we should take from this is that we do not necessarily need to be a pastor or a teacher to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to many different people of the world. In fact, Jesus and God can use any one of us to spread his gospel to various parts of the world.